Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Art of Being a Woman. I'm your host, Courtney, and today we are discussing the art of expecting nothing and receiving everything. This is something that I wanted to discuss because not too long ago, when I was very much invested in manifesting and the law of attraction, I would hit a wall. I would feel this resistance from the universe, so to speak. And it was very frustrating because I would put in so much effort on my part and constantly work on setting my intentions, affirming everything. And it just got to a point where I was just so frustrated and so tired of striving for something for so long that I almost decided to give up. And not give up on life or the podcast or anything of that sort, but I almost felt like giving up on the things that I wanted to manifest and attract in my life, because I felt that if I'm doing all these things and I'm trying so hard and it's not happening, maybe it's just not meant for me. I remember the day that I reached that conclusion, I knew that there was a lack of patience on my end because I was constantly wondering when my manifestations would come into fruition. So I knew it was partially my fault, but I decided to let the desire go, let the manifestation go. If I receive it, I receive it. If I don't, I don't. But the idea of wanting something so bad and not having it was truly hurting me more than it was helping me. That same day, I was journaling and I basically expressed how frustrated I was about the things that I wanted that I did not yet receive. And I pretty much surrendered. I expressed that I have no clue why I haven't received my manifestations. I have no clue if what I actually want is even for my highest good. These are just things that I have a desire for, a strong desire for. And if it's meant to be, it will happen. And if it's not, it's not. And there's nothing I can do about it. I accept that there's nothing that I can do about it and that it's completely out of my control. Because if it was, it would have happened already. And right after that journaling session, I went on Instagram for a little bit. And the first video that came up was a video on the law of detachment. And it felt like a cosmic wink. I think that's what people call it. It was basically a synchronicity. How is it that I was so confused about something so specific in my life? And the answer came to me right after I journaled about it. When I watched the video, it basically affirmed everything that I wrote in my journal, which was pretty creepy because I wasn't so sure about how I felt in that moment and the conclusion that I got to. But here the world was confirming that my conclusions were correct. It inspired me to create this topic because when I looked at my own life and the things that I seem to have manifested very easily and honestly, effortlessly, it was always something that I wasn't too attached to. It was something that I knew I would be happy with or without. It would be nice to have, but it would be equally as nice to not have it. And whenever I had that mentality with the things that I wanted in life, they would fall into my lap with such ease. Now, there were a few other components that added to the effortlessness of manifesting for me, in my opinion, and we will get into that in this episode. We're going to get into 4 different ways to shift your mindset so that you can start expecting nothing, so that you can receive everything that you truly want. And before we get into the 4 steps, I will clarify that when it comes to having desires and having manifestations, intentions are very important, if not the most important part. Because if we desire something and we are trying to manifest something from an ego point of view, meaning we don't feel good enough about ourselves, we are comparing ourselves to other people, and we want to achieve something so that other people think highly of us, whatever the case may be. We know when we're coming from an ego place. Whenever we try to manifest something from that point of view, it will most likely not happen. Or if you get lucky and it happens, you will receive it, but then it will be taken away from you, which honestly can be more painful because instead of you learning to be happy without the desire and the manifestation that you thought you needed, you're going to receive it, feel on top of the world, and then you're going to fall. Now, what does it mean to have a pure intention? A pure intention is something that isn't coming from the ego. It's soul-based. It's something that we don't want for show. We don't want it to impress other people. And many times, those desires are not tied to material things and things outside of us. It's usually health, happiness, peace of mind. Those are usually the most pure desires that we can try to manifest. When we tend to get very specific, as in, instead of saying we want to be healthy, and we say, I want to weigh this exact amount of pounds, that can be a bit tricky, and the ego can be trying to control and micromanage outcomes. If we are trying to manifest love, but we want a specific person to love us, that's coming from ego. And another means of trying to control how we receive something. So it's really important to get clear on your intentions, get to the bottom of why it is that you want certain things in life, and consider being more flexible with what you want so that there's more room for what you want to come into your life. The 4 steps we're going to discuss are from my Instagram account and my Threads account. If you don't follow me there, you should. I would love to have you. It's at She Is Artfully Woman. Now, the first step we have is recognize wanting interrupts being. Step 2, detach your worth from the weight. Step 3, be open to not knowing what's best for you. And step 4, remember that you lack nothing. Let's start with step 1, recognize wanting interrupts being. This is from a poem that I saw a few years ago, and all it said was, wanting interrupts being. 3 words, yet it carried so much weight. I remember I took a screenshot of it as soon as I saw it online, and something in me just really resonated with it. I felt like this is absolutely true. Anytime I want something badly, I'm never in the present moment because I'm always focusing on the future and when I receive whatever I want and how life is going to look like when I receive what I want. Or sometimes my mind will have me go to the past and think about how I never had what it is that I'm craving and what I'm wanting. Either way, I'm not in the present moment. I'm not making the most of my life currently. And I personally realized that whenever that happens, I'm not happy. I'm never happy when I'm so caught up in the future. That makes me anxious. And I'm never happy when I dwell on the past too long because that makes me sad. Not necessarily because everything in my past was sad, and it's not necessarily because the future is frightening. It's just that the future is unpredictable. And that's unsettling for everyone. And the past is something that we can't change, which makes us frustrated at times, even though we know to begin with that we can't change the past or completely control the future. But it happens. We do it to ourselves from time to time. So anytime you catch yourself wanting something very badly, pause for a moment and observe how you're not being present. You're not focusing on what life is showing you at this moment, and try to shift your focus from how exciting the future might be when you do receive what you want to figuring out how to make the most of what is being presented to you in your current reality, because that is what creates true happiness, and ultimately it brings what we want closer to us. When all we think about is what we don't have, that becomes our energy. We don't have things. What we have is not enough. And like attracts like. So when we put out that energy, I don't have what I want, I don't have enough, the universe supports it. It confirms. It sends more of that energy to you. So you will be met with more situations that support that feeling that you don't have what you want and that you don't have enough, which is not what we want, because if we have desires and we have manifestations, we don't want to push them away. So the best way to prevent that blockage from happening is by keeping ourselves grounded in the present moment, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And the way that our mind works, it will always try to pull us out of the present, whether we're thinking about the past and the future. And it's our job to bring our focus back to the present moment. This is why meditation is so popular. And I recommend you meditate if you ever have a moment where you're stuck thinking about the past or you're stuck worrying about the future. It will truly help. Why not bring ourselves back to what's within our control instead of worrying about what we can't control? It's very interesting because this topic is truly about releasing control. And I discussed that in other episodes as well. So if you want more of a deep dive on how to really get out of that need to control your surroundings and your life, I recommend you listen to episode 41 and also episode 8. Both of those go deeper into control itself. Now, to summarize this step, remain present. Always remain present. Don't allow your mind to get caught up in the future, even if it starts off positive and you're thinking about what life is going to look like when you receive what you want. It's going to be so amazing, so fantastic. Don't fall into the trap, because then your mind is going to try to keep you in the future, and you don't want that. Remain present. Fall in love with your present moment as much as you can. If it's not that easy, you need to start doing things that lift up your vibration and lift up your mood so that you become so immersed in your present moment so that the things that you want can come to you quicker. Step 2, detach your worth from the weight. This is something that I didn't realize I was doing. And I had to really call myself out on this, because without me realizing, I thought that if I could not find a way to receive what it is that I want from the universe and from God, that it meant something was wrong with me, or it meant that I wasn't doing enough, or I wasn't good enough for whatever it is that I wanted. And when we have that mindset, our manifestations and our desires cannot come through because we are forgetting our worth. And when we forget our worth, that is the energy that we are walking around with, and that attracts more situations and people that support that energy. When we don't feel deserving of something deep down, or we feel like it's unlikely for us to receive something, we start to see proof of that everywhere. And this is something that I believe is backed by science now. There was this interview that I saw someone did with some sort of researcher, and they did a social experiment where they had people complete a test that they didn't study for, I believe. And I think they asked them in advance, do you feel like you're a lucky person? And some people said yes, some people said no. And what nobody was told was that the answers for the questions were in the test itself, hidden. And the people that said in advance that they believe that they're lucky people, they were able to find the answers in the test and do well. And the ones that didn't think that they were lucky did not find the answers hidden in the test, and they didn't do as well. And the researcher basically explained that our belief system is that powerful. When we believe something about ourselves, we end up finding proof of it, and that can work to our benefit or it can work against us. So if you are trying to manifest something, or you're waiting for something that you know you've put in the work for, it's just a matter of time until you receive it, consider your belief system and consider your self-esteem. Many times on the surface, we can think and assume that we're very confident and we feel very deserving, but on a deeper level, it's not always the case. And yes, this does sometimes stem from childhood and the beliefs that we've adopted. That doesn't mean that it's our family's fault. It's just something that we have to get to the root of and change it, choose better. And when we detach our worth from the things that we want, and we realize that whether we have what it is we want or not, we are still worthy of everything, the more life will give us proof of that. We can't only believe we're worthy of nice things once we have it. We have to feel like we're worthy of it before we ever have it. We always have to change our inner self before we start changing our outer self. Meaning, we don't want to be someone that doesn't feel worthy of nice things. So we buy the nice things to almost cover up our insecurities and to prove that we've made it or to prove that we finally achieved what we've wanted. Because whenever we do that, it doesn't last. And that fall is going to be very painful if we never worked on ourselves and we never worked on our self-worth. Step 3, be open to not knowing what's best for you. This is not easy for me to do. I have always thought I was so sure of what I wanted, when I wanted it, and why I wanted it. And it wasn't until I really started to play devil's advocate with myself that I realized that's just not the case. I don't always know what's best for me. I don't always know what the best timing is for me. And that's okay, because I am not in charge of those things. And I have been tricking myself and convincing myself that I am when I'm not. God has made life very simple in a way, where the things that we can control are the things we should take control of, which is our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Everything else, we shouldn't even worry about. We shouldn't even waste energy trying to control, because we couldn't possibly know what exactly is best for us when we're only in the present moment. Only God knows that. Only God knows exactly how our whole life will unfold. So it's best if we leave it up to Him. And that's something that has really changed my perspective on manifesting and my desires. Because I've realized that a lot of the things that I have wanted very badly and that I didn't receive, they were so specific. The timing was specific. What I wanted exactly was so specific. And I really had to ask myself, why? Why does it need to be that specific time? And I would realize it was coming from ego. And I convinced myself that it would be the most appropriate thing for society standards that I receive and achieve certain things by a certain age, when that's just coming from insecurity and needing to prove something to other people. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, now I get why I didn't receive it. I never want to be someone that goes after things just so that my life looks good on paper. I've always felt like that's a very inauthentic way to live, and the idea of living an inauthentic life really makes me uncomfortable. And the sad truth is, there's many people in the world that force manifest, fake manifest, and basically manipulate circumstances so that they can receive the things that they think they want and the things that they think are best for them. And what they have to eventually learn and realize is that they don't know what's best. And trying to control things that you have no business trying to control will only backfire and blow up in your face. We don't know if receiving something that we want at this exact moment would prevent us from unlocking a gift that we had within ourselves. We don't know if we settle with something that we want would prevent us from receiving something 10 times as amazing as what we want. We don't know any of this. So it's best to accept that fact, surrender control over the things that we cannot control anyways, and allow the world to surprise us. Imagine we have our birthday coming up and a group of our friends have been working for weeks, if not months, to plan the most incredible surprise birthday. They're going behind your back. They're not telling you a thing. They're pretending like they're not doing anything. And perhaps they're pretending that they forgot that you even wanted to celebrate your birthday. But behind the scenes, they are arranging a venue, arranging food, arranging the itinerary of the things that you're going to do. And imagine while they're planning this incredible surprise for you, you're sitting in your house and you're so sad. You don't think that anyone remembers your birthday is coming up. You don't think anybody wants to celebrate your birthday with you. And you're deciding that you're so sad you don't even want to celebrate your birthday anymore. When the whole time, everyone is organizing and orchestrating everything perfectly so that you have the best time of your life. Now, this is exactly how God works. This is exactly how the universe works. We can be in dark places in our life. And that doesn't mean that things around us are falling apart necessarily. We can just feel emotionally that we're unraveling a bit. We're feeling down on life. We feel unsupported by life. in those moments, it's truly when there are things being orchestrated behind the scenes that cannot be revealed to you at that moment. And that can be extremely frustrating, especially when you are someone that likes to feel a sense of control in your life. Perhaps you don't like surprise parties or surprises at all. You would rather someone tell you exactly what it is they're going to do so that you're not worried or anxious thinking about the future. But it's in those moments that we have the opportunity to trust that we're being supported, trust that we're being loved, even if we don't have proof of either, and allow life to surprise us. We can choose to not give up. We can choose to support ourselves in the meantime. We can maximize the present moment while still holding our faith that life can surprise us at any moment. Some days when I am just low energy and I know I have a long work day ahead of me, I will admit that to myself, that I'm low energy and I'm not that excited to go to work. I will also surrender and leave it up to God. And what happens more often than not, on the days that I'm very tired, I have a few cancellations in my day and I'm able to leave work early. And whenever that happens, I feel like I'm being supported. And not only am I being supported, I feel surprised by life because I didn't expect to finish early just because I was tired. I allowed life to surprise me, and it does when I surrender to it. So keep that in mind if you've been waiting for something for quite a long time. It's not that enjoyable when we can predict our future to the T. Would life even be enjoyable if we knew exactly when we would die? I don't think so. I think sometimes that gets glamorized in movies a bit, because we live life to the fullest. We know we have this many years left to live, but I think it can also be a bit depressing. So there's reasons as to why we don't know everything, and we should make the most out of that. Step 4, remember that you lack nothing. Anytime we feel like we're missing something from our life, that's our ego talking. There's a way to have a desire without feeling like we cannot be happy until we've received it or achieved it. Because what happens when we have that mentality, we will constantly be chasing things outside of ourselves. Life is about constantly remembering that we have everything we need, always. That reminds me of that Kanye West song, We Have Everything We Need. It's a great song. It's from his gospel album, I believe. And he's right. It's a fact. If we truly needed something in life, we would have it. And if we don't have something at this present moment, we don't need it. We want it, but we don't need it. And when we remind ourselves of that we want things, but we don't need it, we're still happy, we're still complete. And when we don't need to be surrounded by items and we don't need to be achieving milestone after milestone rapidly to feel good in our own skin and happy in our own lives, then we win. And when I say we win, I mean we become free from the illusion of this world. Free from the illusion that we need things outside of ourselves to be happy, to relax, to enjoy life. It's simply just not true. We can look around the world and see individuals that have an excess amount of things. That doesn't equate to happiness. We've also, I'm sure, have met at least one person in our life that doesn't have that many things, but they always have a reason to be happy. And we can think to ourselves, they're just simple. They don't have many desires. They don't care for the finer things in life. But that's truly the ultimate hack to receive everything that you want by not needing it. Before I wrap this episode up, I just want to clarify that because we expect nothing, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't desire anything. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't manifest anything. No, of course we should have desires and of course we should manifest, but we must accept that we don't need them to be happy. And whether or not we receive it, we will feel the same. And it's truly when we get to that point that all the things that we desire start to come into our life a lot quicker. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode, and I hope it gave you clarity on areas where you may feel like you have been blocked from your manifestations and your desires, because it's real. It happens to all of us. There's always an area in everyone's life where things don't flow to them as easily. And it's intentional because it forces us to go within and work on ourselves and grow. So don't look at that as a bad thing. It's a good thing. Everything is ultimately for our highest good. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to this episode. It means so much to me. If you enjoyed it, please rate this podcast and please share it with a friend or a family member if you feel like they would benefit from it. I love you all. I hope you have an amazing week. Until next time, bye for now.